Hello and welcome. My name is Jason. I'm the CEO of Stingray's Bookkeeping. My website is stingraysbookkeeping.com. I have a YouTube channel, Professor Stingray's Small Business Bookkeeping Made Easy. Earning a degree in accounting was more difficult to me due to my post-concussion syndrome issues. I was encouraged to take a long sabbatical, and I wrote my own autobiography, The Journey of Two Angels. It was written in a format of one extremely long creative writing session that lasted 7 months. I created a website, journeyoftwoangels.com. The full journal as of 2025 is unpublished. I'm using the autobiography as source material. I'm creating several topic-specific sub-books under the series title of Two Angels. Both Two Angels, My Life with CTE. I cover TBI, Post-Concussion Syndrome, and CTE. This is a first-person account of my healing from a concussion in 2008 that was a brain scrambling. I have severe post-concussion syndrome, and I go into great detail. Chapter 1 is the CTE medical terminology. Chapter 2 is I was learning how my brain works. I'm dyslexic, so I was taught how my brain learns and stuff like that. Chapter 3 is my 2 major concussions, about the accidents and what happened. Chapter 4 is my life coping with CTE the first few years after the concussion and the healing. Chapter 5 was my healing injuries through brain therapy. I've been doing a lot of work the last 5 years, and I think that's helped my brain heal. Chapter 6 is my abilities lost due to the concussion TBI. I go through exactly what has changed, because since I know my brain so well, I know what I lost. Chapter 7 is the phoenix rising from the ashes. I lost my life, I lost my career from the last concussion, and I'm trying to rebuild something out of it. I could not think of a better metaphor than a phoenix rising from the ashes. Two Angels, the Unheard Voices of CTE. These are 8 athletes that gave their lives for CTE research. Their deaths were seen as suicides for depression or money woes, and their real reason, their voice is unheard. The real reason was for CTE research. These 8 athletes were our heroes. We cheered them on Sundays or on Saturday nights for the wrestling. They were our heroes on the field. They were our pillars of the community off the field. I think they were heroes leading the research in CTE. And I wanted to give their voices a lasting voice so they can be heard through many years. Andre Waters and Dave Duerson. Let's start with Andre Waters. Sportscasting.com article dated August 8, 2020 by Kyle Dalton, The Tragic Death of Philadelphia Eagles hard-hitting safety Andre Waters. The Philadelphia Eagles safety earned the nickname Dirty because of his propensity to detonate any offensive player who came across the middle. While Waters' violent play received praise from his teammates and coaching staff, it often made the weekly highlight reel, and it came with a hefty price. Each of those high-speed collisions Waters sought out on Sunday took its toll. He suffered more than a dozen concussions, but that was the start of it. After retirement, he began experiencing other effects, including depression. Tragically, in 2006, Waters took his own life. Waters thrived on contact. His agent, Jim Solano, would later say the Eagles defensive back viewed hitting as his meal ticket. When asked in 1994 by the Inquirer about the number of concussions he had sustained in his career, Waters couldn't remember. I think I lost count at 15. I just wouldn't say anything. I sniffed some smelling salts, didn't go back in there. And anybody who's had a competitive nature understands I'll sniff some smelling salts and go back in. If we can still play, we'll all go back in. Weeks after his death, his son agreed to have the brain examined by neuropathologist Dr. Omalu of the University of Pittsburgh, a leading expert in the forensic pathology. who had examined two other former NFL players, Omalu determined that Waters' brain tissue resembled that of the 85-year-old man with similar characteristics as those of early-stage Alzheimer's. He was compared to hanging an 85-year-old man with Alzheimer's. Waters had brain damage, and according to Omalu, it was a direct result of the numerous head traumas he experienced each time he delivered a vicious highlight reel hit. Waters became the poster child for NFL players who suffered from chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, the tangled threads of abnormal proteins that have been found to cause cognitive and intellectual dysfunction, including major depression. His story was featured in the film Concussion. Andre Waters' tragic death at the age of 44 came as a shock to most NFL fans and even those who knew him best. But his death was not in vain, as those studies involving his brain shed light on the trauma caused by concussions associated with football-related collisions. Through his death, Waters is helping others better understand the dangers of playing football and whether or not it's risky they're willing to risk. That's something we have to consider. It is a risk. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it's also life-saving. NBCPhiladelphia.com, article dated September 14, 2010. Mere hours before the Eagles would invite controversy by briefly playing Kevin Kolb and Stuart Bradley after both men sustained concussions, the Palm Beach Post published a warning encased in the full-length story of another Eagle. His name was Andre Waters, and his incredible tragic tale is regarded as the impetus for the NFL's new aggressive approach to preventing concussions, the turning point on how serious those long-term effects are regarded. Nearly 4 years ago, Waters stepped onto the pool deck of his Tampa home in the middle of the night, clutching a .32 caliber Smith & Wesson pistol. He ended his life after only 44 years. I understand what it's like. He was on his pool deck in his Tampa home, and it's just, when you experience this kind of dementia, it just gets to you. After Waters' suicide, Benay Omalu, the doctor who studied his brain, and that of the other NFL players who died young, said the damage he discovered was consistent with an 80 to a 90-year-old suffering from dementia. Family and friends are still not sure what made Waters pull the trigger, but Omalu offers a stark conclusion. Family and friends are still not sure what made Waters pull the trigger. You want to get out. You don't know what's going on. Your brain feels fractured. Things make sense, but they don't make sense. Things don't seem to be working right. It's easy to want to get out. But it's not that easy. He didn't shoot himself in the head. He shot it in the chest, I believe, to preserve the brain so the brain could be tested so it could help other people. Dirty Waters was an Eagles legend, but he was also a league-wide lightning rod. His helmet-to-knee style at safety under Buddy Ryan earned plenty of detractors, but it earned him even more blows to the head, blows which Omalu concluded injured the part of the brain that regulates mood. No one can say if or how much Waters' actions were prompted by brain damage. Reference to suicide were found as far as 6 years prior to his death, and I'm certainly not suggesting the Eagles' medical staff are going to lead them to that particular solution to this would-be quarterback controversy. Cornerback. But it's pretty amazing that Sunday, after we've had years to add what we learned from the test of Waters' brain, on the very day 4 pages were devoted to his story. Philadelphia will send a man into battle moments after he wobbled his way up from the ground, took 2 unsteady steps, and suddenly collapsed on the field on national television. After all, if anyone should know to err on the side of caution, it's the Eagles' Dirty Waters. Was one of their own, and now he's gone. I understand what it was like being in his head. It wasn't about depression. He didn't commit suicide out of depression. It's not typical depression, it's a striving to want to understand what's going on in your head. It's an upsetness it won't heal. It's desperation for doctors to find a solution. My brain would be tested after I'm dead, and what I write here and what I say here will be documented. Hopefully what I've done and what I'm doing will help.